the thing. To defeat him, we got to recognize who he is. We got to understand what he's all about. This is the most dangerous and extreme candidate who's ever run for governor in Pennsylvania, and by far the most dangerous and extreme candidate running for governor anywhere in the United States of America. Look at his record and look at what he says. By the way, Austin Davis, my lieutenant governor, he was saying this the other day. His grandmom taught him, when someone tells you who they are, believe them. We got to believe this guy. He has said his number one priority, Mike Carroll, isn't to try to reduce costs, isn't to try to make sure our communities are safe, isn't to try and give our workers a fair shot. In fact, he has said his number one priority is banning all abortion, making sure there's no way for exceptions, even in the case of rape or incest, or to save the life of the woman. And then he says he wants to go a step further and jail doctors who perform this healthcare procedure. Those are his words, not mine. That's his number one priority, not mine. As these reps and senators know, this legislature is poised to continue to put bill after bill on the desk of the next governor to do just that, to take away reproductive choice from women here in Pennsylvania. He will sign that bill into law. I will veto that bill and trust the women of Pennsylvania to make decisions over their own lives. Here's another way he's dangerous and extreme. I'm here today to ask you for your support, ask you to be all in with us, ask you to join our campaign, ask you to help re-elect Matt Cartwright and the rest of our team here. But understand where he is. My opponent is out actively recruiting white supremacists to be part of his campaign. He's the only candidate in the nation who's spending money on a website called Gab, a haven for white supremacists, to recruit these people to be part of his campaign. He doesn't deny it. It's what he's doing. It's how he's spending his money. You see, he fundamentally believes certain people shouldn't exist in this Commonwealth. Remember, this is the same guy who played dress-up in a Confederate uniform on the sacred grounds of the U.S. Army War College just a few years ago. He don't believe that certain people count. Let me tell you what I believe. No matter what you look like, where you come from, who you love or who you pray to or choose not to pray to, you belong in Pennsylvania, and I'm going to have your back always and forever. When it comes to protecting the fundamental foundation of our democracy, your precious vote. I know a little something about this. You know, in the last election, the former president, I hear he's coming to town later today, the former president, his enabler, what did President Obama say? Don't boo, vote. Don't boo, vote. But the former president, not Obama, sued me in the last election 43 times. Now, I don't mind getting sued, but understand, why did he sue me? He sued me to make sure that your vote wouldn't count. By the way, former president went 0-43. I went 43-0. In the final step in the process, after you vote, Matt knows this, in order for your vote to be able to count, someone has to literally read it across the desk in the United States House of Representatives. They do that on January the 6th. But on January 6th, my opponent wasn't in court with me defending your right to vote. He was storming the Capitol with the violent mob, trying to stop your vote from being counted. Now, you don't have to look backwards to know what he's going to do in the future on your vote. He's already told you. You see, here in Pennsylvania, the governor appoints the person known as the Secretary of State. Secretary of State's the person that oversees elections. And the governor certifies who wins an election. Now, in the past, Mayor, if you got one more vote than the other person, you win the election. But not the way Doug Mastriano views the world. He has already said, as my wife would say, he uses his inside voice outside all the time. He has already said he would decertify enough voting machines in order to pick the winner next time. Think about that for a minute. Think about the lack of respect he has for Pennsylvania. First, he goes and recruits white supremacists because he believes certain people don't count. Then he marches to the Capitol to stop your vote from being counted. And now he's saying he's going to decertify voting machines in order to pick the winner he wants next time. That's not how democracy works.
No.
We are better than that here in Pennsylvania. And I would argue we have a unique responsibility here in Pennsylvania to defend that democracy. A democracy that was born down the road, Marty was talking about this, 246 years ago in the city of Philadelphia. A democracy that we are in the midst of writing another chapter on right now. If you look at the history of our democracy over the last 246 years, it's been written chapter after chapter, with each chapter telling a similar story. We take a couple steps forward, we get knocked back a step. But then the American people rise up and we demand more. We demand change. We demand our rights. And then the chapter ends with forward progress. We're in the midst of a chapter right now where we just got knocked back, where the Supreme Court of the United States has taken away a right from us for the first time. They didn't add a right, they subtracted it. We're in the midst of a moment where our politics feels frayed, where the division seems so deep. This is a moment, though, not to be on the sidelines. This is a moment where we are being called upon, as our ancestors and their ancestors were, to rise up and write that next chapter of forward progress.
That's right.
I believe we can do that again. To do that, we all got to realize our power, and we got to use our power. We got to protect our vote, and we got to go out and we got to encourage others to get off the sidelines and get in the game. The fact that you are part of this movement means a lot. Now you got to sign up for a shift. Now you got to sign up to send texts. Now you got to take a lawn sign and put it on your lawn. When the word Cartwright's on your lawn, that says you care about freedom and democracy. When you go and have that quiet conversation with your friend leaving church or at the checkout counter, they're going to listen to you because they're freedom loving just like you are. Our freedoms and rights are on the line right now. And that next chapter in our democracy is being written. And you are being tested. The other side, they love to talk a good game about freedom. Right? Now, let me tell you something. It's nonsense the way they talk about it. Hear me on this. It's not freedom when they tell women what they're allowed to do with their bodies. That's right. Not freedom.
That's right.
It's not freedom. It's not freedom, SCI. You almost say this right in your camera. When they say you can go work a 40-hour work week, but you can't be a member of a union. That's not freedom.
That's right.
It's not freedom when they tell our kids what books they're allowed to read in school. That's not freedom. And it sure as hell isn't freedom when they say you can go vote, but he gets to pick the winner. That's not freedom. That's not freedom. We are freedom-loving people. And we know what real freedom is. Real freedom is when we give that young child an opportunity with a good school. When we show them the way to a pathway to success in an apprenticeship program and then into a job. Real freedom comes when we trust people to marry who they love. Real freedom comes. Real freedom comes. Real freedom comes when we respect everyone no matter what place of worship you walk into. And real freedom comes when we trust the good people of Pennsylvania to decide who they want to lead them. This is a moment where we have to stand up and defend our real freedom. And this is a moment where you have a real responsibility to do that. I know I feel that real freedom. I feel it because I look in the eyes of our 4 children every single day, and I worry about their future. I worry about their planet. I worry about their safety. I worry, moms and dads, you'll understand this. I worry that we brought our 4 children into this world at a time where maybe they had fewer opportunities than the world I was brought into. And that breaks my heart for my kids and your kids. That's one of the reasons why I fight the way I do. The other reason I do is because of my faith, and I'm not here to preach at you or tell you what to believe, but my scripture teaches me that no one is required to complete the task, but neither are we free to refrain from it. That means each of us has a responsibility to get off the sidelines, get in the game, be all in, and do our part. And this is a moment where we got to do it. So Scranton, are you with me? Yes. Are we going to do this? Yes. Are we going to win? Yes. Are we going to seize this moment? Yes. Are we going to defend our freedom? Yes. Then let's get to work. Thank you all.